Okay, let's talk about the unit and let's talk about the app before we get to all the images. Again, there'll be timestamps in the description if you want to jump straight to the images. But you can see on the linear side how this is about 4 centimeters long, whereas the Clarius is about 5 centimeters long. You can see their relative size. They're about the same weight or close, so close I can't really tell the difference between them. Maybe this is a little bit lighter, but I really can't tell for certain. We'll get the whole size in the image here. You can see they're about the same size. You can see the buttons on the Clarius, which are here and here. I know it's on black, but there's 2 buttons, and one can be programmed. I think one's always freeze. So freeze and take pictures how I had it coordinated or set in the app before the app deleted my settings. Thanks, Clarius. There is a button here on this dual-ended probe, and just tapping it will freeze the image. Holding down will switch from the linear side to the curvilinear side. And you have to be a little bit careful, though, because if you start the app on the linear side, the app will crash 100% of the time. So, but when you first turn it on, it automatically goes to curvilinear. So unless you hold it and switch it to linear and then go into the app, you're not going to run into that issue. And then, well, to fix it, you just make sure it's in curvilinear before starting the app. And I've also had, I'm scared to try it because it was really difficult to undo, involved multiple Android phones and tablets and uninstalling and reinstalling. And in the end, I still don't know what to fix it. So I don't want to recreate it for you. But the cardiac, I think starting it on cardiac setting will also mess it up, but you can't control that with the button. So I would not ever turn this off with it in cardiac setting. If so, again, you might have to I try restart the program and try to switch it from cardiac to something else right away because there's no button for it, and it was just going into its last setting, which was the cardiac setting, and then crashing. And I didn't really know how to fix it. Uninstalling, reinstalling, and in the end, I still don't know why it fixed. There's a light here that gives you an idea of charge, although it's not perfect because there's 4 bars here, and one always flashes when it's on. So, you have a vague idea whether it's fully charged or whether it's half charge or less. But that's better than no idea at all. You can see the button placement is sort of perfect if you're using the curvilinear side. And if you're using the linear side, it feels way too long. It feels very top heavy. It doesn't feel very comfortable. I still have never figured out exactly where I like to hold it. Sometimes I'll hold it like this if I need to press the button, which is a little up high. And if I'm holding it down here, if I want to freeze, I'll either use my other hand, but then that tends to move it. What I've been doing is I try to make sure the screen is close enough I can just tap freeze on the screen. There is a code here on the transducer itself. That is the Wi-Fi password, which you need for the initial setup on your phone or your tablet. Once, of course, you've logged in and signed into a Wi-Fi, your tablet remembers the Wi-Fi password, so the subsequent times are very fast. It takes about 20 seconds from turning this on starting the app and switching over to the Wi-Fi to start scanning. So I've timed it 20 seconds, which is pretty quick. I must say I do find it slippery compared to the Clarius. I do like the rubberized grip of the Clarius. Okay, let's start this up. So I'm going to tap the button here so that it turns on. So on the curvilinear side, it's fully charged. And in the app, I will click on this here, and I will click on the Wi-Fi to connect it. And it seems like it's connecting. And basically, I can go back, and if I click here, I'm scanning. It's working. So it's that fast to get it going. If I want to turn this off, I hold down this button until the entire device turns off, and that's how to turn it off. Okay, now to go through all the features, in sort of the top right here, we have some ability to basically upload our DICOM procedures. We could select what to upload. I have not done this. So we have this button for initiating the Wi-Fi. We have this for uploading. Of course, images are also stored locally, and you can just download them the regular way from the file off of your tablet, and that's what I do. I do not use this feature. We have the patient setting here, where you can put in, name, date of birth, all that stuff, and you can have a report here with your observations. Because I've been sort of used to the Clarius not being able to save locally, not being able to upload images and things like that, I've sort of gone used to uploading images and annotating on my big computer, and I can even fix brightness and contrast and make it look nice and pretty and write a nice report. And that's what I've been doing, and putting the images basically right into the SOAP notes, and that's sort of the way I've been doing things. In particular, because although you can save images, you cannot save split screen, and I love split screen, so I end up using the print screen function to get images of split screen. Also, once you've saved an image, you can't then add annotations afterwards, so you have to freeze, add annotations right in the moment. And so I do find that it's a little limiting, where once I have the JPEG, I can do what I want. Similarly, once I have the MP4 or whatever video format it is from the Cineclip, it's easier for me to take frames out of that once I have it on my big computer and annotate. Maybe that's more work, but I end up with the images just the way I want. Whereas here, you can record a Cineclip, but in this app, you can't go through and, you can't go through old Cineclips, I should say. It's actively saving the Cineclip. So as I'm recording, you can see it's I have it set to up to 100 frames, and I can go back and scroll one frame at a time through it. I wish there was a faster way. It seems like you just have to sort of flip through. So I think you can set this number to max out at 1,000, but I see no purpose for that, because that's 1,000 would be a really long time. Right, and if I want to play the active Cineclip, I can hit this button to play it, but it doesn't seem like I can pick and choose exactly what frame. I can't jump around like you can in other software. Annotation is relatively simple. There's no arrows that you can add. It's just basically text. Measurement, it depends on what your setting is. So the normal measurements are here, length, area, trace, depth, angle, area, circumference. Right, I can drag this around. I can move carefully each individual point I have selected. I like the trace. Which is quite handy and quick. If you want the special settings, you have to go into, for example, obstetrics. You'll then have access to gestational age and estimated fetal weight. If you want some of the values for velocity values, such as in pulse wave mode, you have to be in pulse wave in order to get those values, and you'll see the measurements have changed. We do have a biopsy button, which helps with interventional procedures. So in plane is quite typical, and I guess you can sort of plan out where you want to take the needle, and so you have a guide to follow. And once we freeze, we have a save button for images and a save for the Cineclip. And this gets saved locally. If you want split screen, you can't do it with full frozen. If I'm actually looking, I can press this. I can freeze this, come over here. I can take a second image. And now, we can compare, go back and forth, choose which one we want to update. And if I hit the save button, it'll look like it saves, and it'll save a blank image. I have to screen capture if I want to, again, image a split screen. Now, if I want, let's say, patient information and the settings to be on the image itself, see, it just appears there briefly. I can go to preset here and click on show information. And of course, there's other things you could do, as I mentioned, change the CineLoop settings. And this information is now on the image, even when I hit save. We can talk about these things, and actually we can see the effect here. So let's say I have this image. I'm currently holding the transducer over my right flank. And so this is basically Murphy's pouch, where you'd be looking for fluid, free fluid if there's some internal bleeding or something. And let's look at how these settings change things. So I can increase the gain, which makes everything brighter. I can decrease the gain, and we can see the actual value here makes everything less bright. Depth, you can change the depth just by swiping, but there's sort of presets for the depth, so you can't fine tune it to exactly what you want. And you cycle through these depths as you touch the depth button. Focus, if I tap this, here's the focus. It's this little arrow here. Tap, there it is now. Tap, there it is now. So it cycles through different locations. So it's looking for Murphy's pouch. That's about the right location for the focus. This button changes the dynamic range, and it cycles through. So a high dynamic range is more colors of gray, more grayscale. It's basically changing contrast. So lower dynamic range increases contrast. So I think it was around 80 or 90. That looks good. This harmonic button is the frequency. So 3.2 or 5 are the settings for the curvilinear side. Denoise, there's some denoise settings. Denoise settings, it's this ENH value here, and it just changes the number and it cycles through. So whichever one works best for you. Then we have the modes, B mode, B and M mode, which is useful for lungs, color Doppler, power Doppler, and pulse wave Doppler.